Neil McAvoy, Assembly Member, South Hill Central. I'm with Bob Mortgage today in Fairwater. Bob is pretty well known in Fairwater, a former Neighbourhood Watch Coordinator, a former local government candidate who I was really glad didn't stand in 2008. So I knew we'd win the election then. And Bob's had a professional career, a contract negotiator, very well linked in. He's had a lot to do with the police over the years. The point of this video is to highlight the sophistication of scams and how people can be caught out. Because Bob was unfortunately scammed for thousands of pounds. You wouldn't have thought that Bob would be scammed, but he was. So, where did it all begin, Bob?
Yeah. Well, Neil, first of all, thank you very much indeed for coming along to see me today. I want to take this opportunity of putting to the public notice the degree of sophistication which scammers are using today. Now, as Neil said, you took with my background and I would be fully alert to a scam. Let me tell each and every one of you, you cannot afford to let your guard down for one moment today. The degree of sophistication employed now by the scammers are even surprising the forces of law enforcement in this country. I'll briefly describe how they tended to succeed in my case. I received a telephone call purporting to be from the Metropolitan Police based at Westminster Branch, London, saying that my credit card had been tendered at the large Apple store in South London for the purchase of a laptop. The alertness of the assistant was immediately apparent. When he inquired the person's name and address for receipt purposes, he quickly observed that the name that the fraudster offered him was complete at variance with the name on the card, which was purported to be my card, assumed to be cloned. An arrest, so I was told, had been made, and that they would be in touch with me as they were of the opinion that this was the tip of a very large iceberg. To develop along the story, the story was put to me, having incidentally, I had checked their warrant numbers, but fell for the old trick of when I went to verify it, finding that my phone call had been diverted to one of their calls, one of their phones.
Yeah. Can I just cut in there, Bob? Because nowadays with social media, scammers like this have access to a huge amount of detail about us. So you're speaking to fraudsters who know a lot about you. They've done the research and they will gain your confidence by telling you things about your own personal self. Yeah. As an example, last week, a Facebook page of a friend of mine was hijacked, basically hacked, and they had access to her inbox. So everything we talked about since the year dot, they would have been able to read. And I think that's what happened to Bob, because the detail they had was supreme, really.
Yeah.
Fast forward, Bob, because they encourage you to go to the bank in Penarth, didn't they?
I was then asked by the fraudsters, who obviously I haven't seen face to face, it was all done over the phone, would I be prepared to assist the police in their inquiries as to the fact that they were of the impression there was a big iceberg on the horizon here, to the effect that the staff of the bank were supposedly under 24-hour surveillance because they were of the opinion that the staff in the bank were passing fraudulent £20 notes to their customers when withdrawing cash. And it was suggested to me that they were on the point of having a big sting operation, and that they felt that I could be materially help to them, to the extent that they had apparently agreed with the bank's HQ in London that their surveillance was being carried out, and that the agreement was that they would get a customer of the bank to personally go to the bank and withdraw a sum of money in excess of £1,000, and they suggested to me a withdrawal of £5,500. Sounds quite incredible, doesn't it? How could I possibly be taken in by that? Because the sophistication of the plan became apparent. The story was, and I know this for a fact, if you walk into a bank and you ask for £1,000, you will not give it £1,000 in notes out of the cashier's till. You will give it in a sealed envelope withdrawn from the back room or the vault.
Yeah.
And so the scammers will say, we want you to withdraw £5,000 in agreement with the bank because we believe what is happening is when someone draws £1,000, 10% of the contents will be fake £20 notes. Now, if you will agree to assist us in this, we'll keep you under surveillance from the time you leave home to the time you go to the bank and the time you return. And incidentally, there was a police car parked outside the bank when I presented myself there. So I came back, further telephone call, would I at my choice randomly select from each bundle of £1,000, 5 bundles, 10 notes. Call out the serial numbers of the notes that would enable them to check with the Bank of England whether they were fraudulent or genuine. They came back some 2 hours later saying, we've just heard from the Bank of England, we've got very bad news for you, sir. In one bundle, 7 out of the 10 random drawn notes are fake. Security numbers don't match up. Now then, in that case, sir, what we need to do is to take possession of your £5,000 notes for forensic examination of the entire contents. We will arrange for those to be picked up by a plain-clothes courier. I thought, rather strange. But he said, you might find that rather odd, sir, when we use the term courier, but you will appreciate this must be utmost secrecy, and we must leave no stone unturned that will allow anyone to suspect it's a police operation. So that duly happened. An individual presented himself at my front door, and we had apparently, yes, we had agreed as a measure of security, I would choose a password and I would give in his name, and under no circumstances whatsoever part with my money unless the correct password was used and the correct name was given to me by the person presenting himself. So far, so good. I was further informed that if I was unable to get to my branch, which happened to be in Penarth, by my own transport, and I gave up driving 2 years ago, they would willingly ensure that the police would cover my expenses, taxis and so forth. Anyway, that's by the by. I came back with the notes. I handed them over to the courier because everything seemed to be fitting into place here. And the result of the story is I am now in dispute with my bank for the following reason. I accept their contention I was culpable in personally withdrawing the money. No question of that. But the bank are honour bound and is a duty of conduct to exercise due diligence and care for customers, particularly the older and more vulnerable society. The usual standard questions were posed to me when I arrived. What did I require it for? Was I happy that I was taking that sum of money alone outside the bank? My son, incidentally, is a former bank manager, so I'm very conversant with bank procedure. But what they didn't do, which was vitally important, they at no stage during the security questions said to me, are you aware, sir, there's widespread scam going on at the moment, and it's actually individuals masquerading as police officers. Subsequent, and I think this is vitally important, a leaflet has appeared in the bank which they've never distributed to their customers, and my bank is closing down on the 3rd of May due to lack of footfall from it. That particular leaflet, of which I have a copy, specifically sets out 3 scenarios, one of which fits perfectly in my case. The police have told me, quite unreservedly, this is one of the most sophisticated of scams that is currently being perpetuated on people. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Maintain your vigilance. At any point whatsoever you have the slightest doubt, take it no further. If they masquerade as the police, firstly, get in touch with your local force, acquaint them with the facts, divulge nothing until the police officers present themselves in person to you flourish their warrant cards and satisfy you beyond any doubt whatsoever that they are genuine. Thank you so much. Take care. Look after yourselves.
Just want to echo what Bob said there, because this was a very sophisticated scam. They spoke like police officers using the language of the police.
Yes.
They also knew technical bank terms. There was a lot of detail here. The police car parked outside or near the bank, as they told Bob that it would be. I think that's an offence in itself there. Luckily, I think one of the individuals was caught on this one. But as Bob said, if anything like this crosses your doorstep or you get a phone call, please get in touch with your local police straight away. Do 101, or as your assembly member, you're very welcome to call our office, because if Bob can be scammed, anyone can be scammed. Okay? So take care. Diolch yn fawr. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Okay.
Thank you very much.